In Port Charles, wedding bells don't always ring with joy. They sometimes toll as ominous warnings, signaling chaos, betrayal, and the unraveling of carefully constructed facades. For Willow, what should have been the beginning of a blissful new chapter is rapidly turning into a storm she may not be emotionally prepared to weather. After enduring one tragedy after another, from medical crises to custody battles, Willow finds herself walking directly into the eye of a romantic and familial hurricane, one orchestrated, consciously or not, by Drew Kane, who has mastered the art of smiling while standing on unstable ground. Following a tense confrontation with Jason Morgan, Drew's composure slipped just long enough to reveal his desperation. With Michael drawing a firm line in the sand over custody of Wiley and Amelia, and Jason quietly backing Michael's stance, Drew has come to the harrowing realization that his grip on Willow, and the life they've tried to build, may be slipping. Jason's warning, sharp and dispassionate, pierced through the veil of Drew's good intentions, exposing the threat he poses to Willow's already fragile emotional state. Instead of backing away, Drew took a different route. One more calculated. One Martin Gray all but predicted, albeit with grave hesitation. Martin, a man no stranger to matrimonial misfires, dropped a cryptic warning to Drew about a tactic he would never personally repeat. While Martin didn't spell it out, his tone and track record made it clear. Marriage, once again, was about to be wielded as a tool, not a testament of love. Drew's subsequent actions confirmed the suspicion. In a stunning yet suspiciously timed move, he proposed to Willow, a woman still reeling from the loss of her marriage to Michael, the collapse of her faith in her own mother, and the emotional whiplash of Drew's relentless push for their romantic legitimacy. Willow's acceptance of the proposal, while seemingly brave, raised more questions than it answered. It was less a celebration of love and more a retreat into something familiar, a bid for security, for clarity in a life that's offered her little of either. And perhaps most tragically, it was also a desperate attempt to protect her access to her children, whom Drew subtly dangled like carrots on a stick. With a wedding now on the horizon, the announcement shocked many in Port Charles, not least of all Nina Reeves. For Nina, the prospect of attending her daughter's wedding should have been a bittersweet milestone, painful, perhaps, given their fractured history, but still an opportunity for healing. Instead, it's a new battlefield. A union she fundamentally opposes, not just because of her strained relationship with Drew, but because of the secret that still clings to her like a second skin. She slept with Drew while Willow was still grieving the implosion of her family. It's a truth that Nina has buried, rationalized, and nearly forgotten, until now, until the moment she realizes that silence might not be protective anymore. It might be complicit. Willow, unknowingly standing on the edge of emotional annihilation, has no idea how deep this betrayal runs. Her decision to marry Drew is driven by fear and fatigue, not joy. Nina sees it. She sees her daughter spiraling into another situation that will leave her shattered. And for the first time in a long while, Nina considers doing something radical, telling the truth. But in Port Charles, secrets don't stay hidden because of silence alone, they stay hidden because they're valuable. And Nina's secret has value to others too. Tracy Quartermain, still bitter over Drew's handling of their prior drug-related business entanglements, is one such person. If Drew won't fall in line, she might ensure he falls flat on his face at the altar. Tracy has the resources, the leverage, and the merciless resolve to detonate Drew's plans publicly. A carefully timed leak about Drew and Nina's affair would do the job. Not only would it devastate Willow, but it would also obliterate whatever goodwill Drew is still clinging to within the Corinthos and Quartermain circles. And then there's Sasha, Willow's once closest friend, now more distant than ever. Sasha has her own reasons to distrust Nina, but she also sees the danger Drew presents. She's watched Willow deteriorate under Drew's influence, watched her lose herself in a man who manipulates with a gentle touch. If Sasha were to turn on Nina, it wouldn't be out of cruelty, it would be an act of salvation, a final bid to protect the woman who once saved her. But what if the biggest twist comes from Nina herself? What if, in a rare act of maternal courage, she steps forward on the day of the wedding, not with vengeance, but with confession? What if, instead of letting the weight of the truth destroy Willow later, she tears the veil down herself, right before it can be lifted in ceremony? The image of Nina interrupting the wedding procession, the horror on Willow's face as she learns the man she's about to marry once bedded her own mother, it's a visual Port Charles might never forget. It would be poetic justice. It would also be emotional carnage. Still, in a town where secrets are currency and betrayal is expected, nothing is ever certain until the final vows are exchanged, or interrupted. As the wedding day approaches, so too does the crescendo of pressure from all sides. Drew clings to the illusion that love can be forced, that control can substitute for compassion. Nina teeters on the edge of redemption and damnation. Willow, the most wounded of them all, is once again at the mercy of people who claim to love her while using her for their own ends. Whether the wedding proceeds or implodes remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, by the end of that day, nothing will ever be the same again for Willow, Drew, or Nina. The cost of the truth, once unleashed, will be irreversible. And for a woman like Willow, still learning how to stand in her own truth, it might be the push that finally sets her free or the collapse that breaks her for good. In Port Charles, there's no such thing as a quiet wedding. Only the calm before the storm, and this one's about to explode.